All righty then. Looky here, looky here. This is podcast 37 of the Stone Roadie Show in action. All righty then. We got tonight on the Stone Roadie Show, we got the return of Paul Abraham, who used to be the road manager for Lynyrd Skynyrd, and then also returning is Mike Estes, who used to play guitar with Lynyrd Skynyrd, and now he's with Skinny Molly. And we got the return of GRIFF Martin, my permanent co-host, who's been moving. He's moved somewhere inland in Florida there. You want to tell us about your move there, GRIFF Martin?
Yeah. Craig was saying, damn, man, it's been 3 weeks. What'd you do? Moved? Everybody's wanting to know, did you move to China? And I was like, well, they lost my damn container and then they found it. And then they said, well, it's going to be another week before we can get it to you. So I was kind of camping out, And then when I got to my house that I moved into, then I had to do some flooring work. As you can see in the background, that's my flooring work back there. That's
Looks
that plank,
good,
that vinyl plank you snap together.
Yeah.
And oh my God, let me tell you something, man. That's some hard work right there when you get in your 60s, because I got a bad hip. I got a artificial hip, and I was up and down. Only thing that kept me going was Gene Odom did his in his whole house. And I said, well, if that damn Gene can do it with rods in his back and shit like that, I know I ought to be able to do it. So
yeah, I did it too. Yeah, it's hard. It is work.
Yes. But I'm still not quite moved in. And then we were talking about my hip, and then that spurred a joke up. With Mike Estes had a little story he was telling about Billy Powell in the airport. Because he was asking me, he said, well, did they ever, when you go to the airport, does that hit that metal detector in there? And I said, yeah, every time, they pull me off to the side. And then
for the cavity search.
Yeah, what was that? What was that story about Billy Powell there?
He was always fun as hell to go through airports with, and we would always do this stuff, but the one time, I forget where we were going, but it was me and Paulie and Billy. I know it was us three because Billy was staying out here at the time, and we had to go somewhere. And we go to the Nashville airport, and Paulie and I both, hand them our IDs, and they do their deal, and they look at Billy, okay, we need your ID, sir. And he says, I don't have one. Or I left it at the house, something where he didn't have it. We're like, we're in a hurry anyways. And so, and I think it was, I can't remember whose idea it was, but somebody, I think it was actually Billy that asked Paul or me, one of us, it's a little fuzzy, but they said, hey, one of you guys got the calendar? And we just happened to have this Lynyrd Skynyrd annual calendar that had everybody's pictures on it. And so
that was his ID.
Yes. and this, and you can tell this was definitely before 9/11, because it said Billy Powell, and it was on the Lynyrd Skynyrd calendar, and he said, this is me, we got to get to a gig and all this, and and the lady was about, in our generation, so she probably, recognized it and let it, but she let him slide through at the airport check-in. And back then they didn't have the TSA where you have to show your ID and your boarding passes again like they do now. And but we did get to the metal detectors, and Billy says to him, this is after all this, we've just got by the skin of our ass on that. And then we get to the metal detectors, and Billy just tells the attendant, I'm going to set this off. I've got a bad hip and it's going to go off. And then we get in, and of course, and we're like, we've really got to catch this plane. And So they had to give him the secondary shakedown and let him pass finally. And he bitched every step of the way till we got on the plane.
And by the way, for those that don't know, Mike Estes, that couch behind him is the couch that Billy slept on.
That was Billy's bed when he was after Paul kicked him out for a month.
That's why he puts it in the background, because that's a Lynyrd Skynyrd.
That's actually where it's going to go permanent. Once I get this room built, it's going to be the what do you call it? Visitors couch in the control room. So.
Well, Billy didn't ever pee on the couch, did he?
No, he never did. Thank God.
That would have been Liam.
That'd been like a Seinfeld.
But yeah, so I mean, Billy was. I hate airports. I've always hated airports, but I had so much fun going through airports with Billy. I was telling them, Paul, about the story where me and him had get on opposite sides of the big hallway, and we'd walk about 25 yards the opposite direction, and then evil eye each other and make comments to each other as we're passing each other. Go, hey, my phone. And, yeah, that whole thing, the whole Jimmy Gillum thing, and you'd be like, and people would just, yeah, it was fun. Man,
Jimmy Gillum was a real person.
He was a real guy, yeah.
And I never got to meet him, but Billy made him famous.
He sure did. And then he was telling me, last I heard, he joined the Merchant Marines. So Billy was like keeping up on his life. But
yeah.
But me and Billy did that same thing. It just reminded me, this is a quick one. It was so funny when me and him would go anywhere together. I had a CB radio in my truck, and we'd talk to each other like he'd be sitting right next to me. We'd act like we were in different vehicles. And we'd threaten each other to kick each other's ass. You know, I'm gonna kick you, motherfucker. And I'd pass him the mic, and then, you know, we just act like, you know, and we do it on Channel 19, so all the truckers would hear it. And oh man, yeah. So, yeah, Billy had. There's some good Billy stories. I've got to think of some more, because boy, we had a blast, man.
We sure
Paul,
did.
what the heck you been up to lately, Paul? How you been doing?
Oh man, I'm okay. You know, I get up every morning. I drive probably about 40 miles one way, and I go in and I get radiation for about 8 minutes. Seriously. Sometimes less than that.
40 miles for 8 minutes.
Wow.
40 miles for 8 minutes, then I got to drive 40 miles back.
Right.
So, but I bring my dog with me every day. Buddy makes the trip with me, and he sits out there in the car and waits on me, you know.
Yeah.
But it's you know, so far no ill effects. You know, I feel pretty good. We went out and walked a little while ago. I'm walking every day.
Are you?
I feel fine.
You look good.
Well, that may be a question of something else.
Yeah, but you ain't got. Yeah, but you ain't got that going on.
Look, they weigh me every Monday, and every Monday so far I've gained weight from the week before.
Really?
Better watch out. Craig will call you a fat ass if you get.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Craig's the fattest.
Hey,
God.
Paul, you know, did Craig tell you about the time he left his dog in the car and went in the store? You better be careful with that. He came back out, some fat
Pops
lady
there.
all on his ass about it.
Really?
First of all, it's you. There's a shade tree down there that I can park under, and then I don't take him if it's hot.
Yeah.
If it's really hot out, it was nice this morning, but yeah, no, man, I like they're gonna steal something in my car that they would want. I leave the windows rolled halfway down all the way around, and I got him a bowl of water in there, and somebody says something to me, I might kick their ass.
You know, that's
probably saying.
I did the same thing though, Paul. I used to take So-So around like that, you know, bowl of water, park him in the shade, leave the windows down.
It's easier than leaving him at home.
Oh, I know. And he hated it.
Oh God, he looks at me like, really? You know, you really gonna leave me here?
Paulie, I swear to God, I got a motorcycle the month before I got the dog, and all motorcycle rides ended because he'd look at me like I was just ripping his heart out, you know. And I couldn't get him to get on the bike. I tried. It's just too big.
When I lived out in Colorado, somebody owed me some money or something. They ended up giving me a little dirt bike. And I lived way up in the mountains anyway. And I'd crank that thing up, and my dogs would come up and they'd nudge me in the side with their nose like, let's go, let's go. And boy, I'd take off, and there they go. And they'll run out through the woods and jump over trees that are down, and, you know, just having a ball.
Oh, I bet.
I miss that, man. I miss living in Clay Lick. I really do.
Oh, man, I miss you being here.
Yeah, well, shit.
Yeah, it's. I always said
there one of these days.
Yeah, I always said. My dad asked me, not long after you moved out, what you were doing, and he asked me, well, how you feel about it? I said, it's bullshit. I said, I hate that he moved.
Really? Well, hey. Sometimes things happen, man.
Hey, Mike, how was your tour in Europe, Mike? How long? You been back? A couple weeks?
I've been back, I think, 3 weeks. And we hadn't toured in 3 years, and we did a 6-week Europe tour. It went really good, and took a minute for the band to hit on all 8 cylinders. But it's one thing that I've done the last 2 Europe tours totally sober. I don't drink anymore. And so I think I ain't had a drink in 3 years, 4 years. I don't even know. But it was like, so to tour and not drink, it's like, you know, I've done 20 something odd years of tours drinking. So it wasn't like I really remembered the no drinking from the last tour. So that was a little strange, but I had a couple of glasses of wine though in the south of France. I had to do that. So, and not in the same night.
And you said that some people saw you on the STONED Roadie show over there in Europe, huh?
Yeah. There was a couple came up to me in the UK and told me, we seen you on the STONED Roadie podcast. And,
wow.
And I was like, now that's what I'm famous for.
Well, that must be a couple of our 561 subscribers.
Yeah, and there was some other people in Spain that said the same thing. Another couple said, "Oh, it's really funny. We really like it." And all this stuff.
Craig made us famous, Mikey.
That's it, man. Somebody had to.
Craig, we're digging that background, man. That's a nice background you picked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was gonna put Mike's picture up, the band picture when he was in the band, but everybody it didn't look right.
Is that the one where we're all bunched up?
Yeah, you're all bunched up, and I was covering up a bunch of people, so it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
Well, you have to, next time he comes on, you have to put that, because I haven't seen that picture yet. I wouldn't mind seeing that one.
Hey, Buddy says, hey, y'all. Come here, buddy.
Buddy. Hey, buddy boy.
I don't think I'd mess with that dog out in the car.
Man, Paulie, that is a good-looking dog.
Yeah. He's smarter than a damn whip, too. He's smarter than I am. He really is, though. He's best watchdog I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, he's good.
Craig, Kathy Godsey sure did a good job while I was gone, didn't she?
She really did. Yeah, I'd really like to thank her for coming on and filling in for you when she's able. She can't come on all the time. She works during the day and then she tutors at night, so she has to kind of fit it in. But yeah, she did a real good job. I think she's got a little fan club of about 4 guys that follow her. she gets
You made her famous too. You made her famous too, did you?
Yeah, she gets all kind of friend requests, and she's always telling me she don't like to friend anybody she doesn't know. So she always says, this guy, this guy, this guy.
Notice they're all guys.
But I tell her, I said, they just want to be your friend because you're famous now,
And Craig will say, yeah, I remember that guy. I said something to him one time. But she had a lot of questions for you. I don't have any questions for you. I haven't had a chance to go on and dig any up. So we're not going to have any questions today.
Yeah, that floor you see in Griff's picture there, he just put that down. I heard he said a few cuss words while he was I
called it an MFer and a whore, and my girlfriend, she was out in the kitchen setting my kitchen up, and she goes, "Oh my God, I've never heard so many cuss words."
Yeah, it was the same way when I put mine in. I put one in too, and it was like,
man,
did yours have did you have to put the blue roll down, or was
yours?
Yeah,
vapor barrier so it don't buckle. If it buckles, I'm just going to throw a grenade on it and let it.
Yeah.
I'm not finished yet, but I've done them before, but I was about 10 years younger, I think, and it's harder getting up and down, but it's like doing yoga. So you got to look at it like that, right?
Yeah. I've never done yoga, but it's really, really hard from what I'm told. And it's like, you can just like to hold something, some kind of, pose of some sort, you'll break out in a sweat just holding it. Hell, I break out in a sweat thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, doing that floor is a lot like doing yoga because you have to put your foot to hold the one end down while you beat the other one in, so it's the hell, man. It's like I'm not looking forward to going back to it again, but you got to finish it. And they wanted like about 15 grand to do the whole floor. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
Are you doing the whole house?
Yeah, it's doing the whole house, basically. Yeah. So I still have the kitchen left, and the laundry room and half the living room, and I got
never ending, man. Never ending.
Yeah.
I almost understand why somebody would want to be homeless.
Like the guy you said out in California's got a washing machine set up by his tent.
I swear I seen this guy on the news. He's got it like a 7-man, 10-man big dome tent with the rain flying, all that on it. It's pristine, and right next to it, he's tapped into somebody's electric and got a front load. And I don't mean like, Mamaw's rolling washing machine, but a front loader, LG or something, washing machine parked right next to the tent. It's funny as hell. It's like, hey, I don't consider that really homeless. It's,
Well, you think he's charging his buddies to wash their clothes in there?
Probably. Well, yeah, the ones that give a damn about it, I guess. But I thought, now there's a dude making a good situation out of a not so good situation.
Well, hey, Mike, a lot of people, I remember the last time we had you on, and a lot of people didn't realize you and Ed King were pretty close.
Oh yeah, God.
And we talked a little bit about Ed King and some stories that you had and things like that. When was the last time that you remember talking to Ed King? You remember the last time you saw him?
The last time I saw him, I think he was out here. He came out here to the house and jammed with my band. it was actually Jay wasn't here, but it was me and Kurt and Luke and Ed King, and we played for about 2 hours out here.
How long was that before he died?
It was probably a year or two, but I talked to him a couple of months before he died, and he had sent me, I think I said something about that. He had sent me a message, a text message that sounded kind of final. But I also knew that I've always known that Ed can have a flair for the dramatic when he, when he wants to, when he wanted to. And I thought, oh man. So I called him and I talked to him, and it wasn't a good situation for him. And I haven't gotten over it. We were really tight buddies. We didn't see each other a lot the last couple of years of his life because I was touring like crazy. But we talked all the time, at least a couple of times a week, and just,
you guys
like crazy.
You guys have music that you wrote together that nobody's ever heard, right?
There's a bunch of it. There's probably 20 or something odd songs. Yeah.
And you have that stuff recorded?
Yeah, but it's at his house.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And
none of it? You don't have any of it at your house?
I do have some of it. I listened to some of it the other day, and it's hilarious because I wasn't really a singer back then and had to sing on the demos to put the songs on, and I was kind of learning to sing. And Ed, who also isn't a singer, but he could kind of get by, he was kind of showing me how to sing, and what notes to sing and stuff. So I learned a lot from him on that regard, which is, something you wouldn't think would happen, but I did learn a ton from him in that regard. And also, I was playing some slide guitar last night, trying to do my best imitation of him, and it's just impossible.
So do you have like some audio of him like doing?
I do. The song I listened to the other day was called Stuck Between a Rock and a Country Song. And I always like that one. I think I probably have to talk to Sharon. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking we're going to record that for my band's next CD, because there's some of them songs I think should get out there, and they're not all great, but they're all, at least we were amateur recordists, recording engineers. Ed's one of the best musicians on the planet to me to this day. And I mean musician, not just guitar player. I mean, he could play keys. He played bass like crazy. Could sing a little bit. He used to sing backups on some of our songs that we demoed, and it was really funny to do that. And
Did he have a little studio at his house?
Yeah, it looked actually kind of like your place right there. He had guitars along all the walls and amps, and he had a whole Alesis ADAT set up. Back then, that was the recording, home studio recording gear of choice, and it was digital, but it was a tape. And it started out, Paul and Craig, you might remember this, when I used to have to drag that damn rack around before I was in the band, and I'd drag an amp rack with a recorder and all this stuff in it, and Ed made me bring out microphone stands and all this shit, and I'd be flying with this stuff, and trying to figure out. I used to, before I was in Skynyrd, I'd go meet Ed out on the road somewhere and stay out for 3 or 4 days, and we'd record, and then sometimes I stayed out for several weeks, I think. And yeah, the last one before I joined the band, I was out for some time. And but yeah, I think my mother would take care of my kids when I was gone, and thank God rest her soul. And because I had 3 young daughters at the time. but yeah, we recorded on the road. We recorded at his house. We used to record in the studio down there in St. Augustine. That's now an auto body place or a mechanic shop. I can't remember which.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And that was one of the cool things about that Alesis ADAT stuff was that it was portable. You could get it around. You didn't have to have a big proper studio to run it. You could take it and set up in a hotel room and go at it. And we did a lot of that.
So do you have like legal rights to that, or you think that?
Yeah, I've got half of it. We made an agreement, and it was, it's half mine, half his. So I could do it. I don't think I would be able to release the recordings, but I can probably record the songs and put them out. So
yeah, that'd be cool to hear something like that sometime.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't figure out how to run one through here next time. If y'all have me back, I'll.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have you back.
Yeah,
especially if you do that too. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah,
great.
I wanted like hell to go on while I was in Europe. I wanted to be the European correspondent.
Yeah, we need to do that, right, Craig?
Yeah. Paulie, your mic's muted, Paulie.
Oh,
your mic's muted.
Boy, we are technical geniuses, ain't we?
I can just see on his screen it said his mic's muted.
Oh,
yeah, I could see it. Yeah. Well, he's got that Samsung.
His laptop. There he goes. There you go. His laptop. There you go.
Okay. Talk about Sharon. Even though you only said Sharon once, you said her name a whole bunch of times in what you just said, Mike. I think she'd be receptive right now, though.
Yeah, I think she would.
I saw her a couple weeks ago.
Where at?
Here in Cleveland, Mississippi, at the Grammy
What was
Museum.
she doing down there?
All right, they've got a Grammy Museum about 5 blocks from where I live.
A Grammy museum.
Yeah, Grammys, like the Grammys in LA and New York and all them places. Well, we've got a Grammy Museum in Cleveland, Mississippi.
No shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, think about it.
That's pretty cool.
Birthplace of the blues and
it makes
rock and roll and everything else. But anyway, they just opened up a Southern rock display in there. So before they did the display, they had me and the piano player for Widespread Panic, JoJo something. Anyway,
I've only met those guys once. I don't know.
You remember the guy that would bring Charlie's guitars and his fiddle out to him every night, wore the cowboy hat, had the big handlebar mustache?
Yeah.
Remember him? He was on the panel.
Yeah.
It was like a kind of we were on this panel, and then sitting right in the front row was Charlie's wife Hazel.
Yeah.
And his son Charlie Jr. And a whole bunch of other people. And they sold tickets to this damn thing, and it sold out. And it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
So she came down for that.
Yeah. I mean, and they brought a whole entourage. What's his piano player's name? Keyboard player? Taz. Taz's wife was there, and I told the story about Charlie wouldn't let anybody have pot or anything on any of his buses. And we'd park somewhere, and we'd always see old Taz kind of easing around the parking lot until he would get next to a bus where he'd smell pot, and then he'd knock on the door. And I told that story, and she came up to me afterwards, and she said that was the funniest thing I ever heard, and I guarantee it's true.
Yeah, he was a character, man. He was a character. Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. We I did another thing with them. I think we talked about this before. They showed that the Skynyrd documentary, If I Leave Here Tomorrow, is that the one? Or would you? I can't remember the name of it. You guys remember?
I know there's one called that, but I can't keep the title straight. But there's been so many of us. You know?
Well, they've got a little venue inside the museum that seats like 135 people.
Oh, that's cool.
And they had me come in there, and they showed the movie, and then after the movie, they asked lots of questions and stuff like that. And, you know, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, cool.
Hell, they sold that damn thing out too.
That's awesome.
People around here.
Paul, did
Sharon,
Yeah.
did Sharon mention anything about the book? Did she mention anything about Ed's book?
It's imminent, but it's still in the hands of attorneys, and they're trying to get credits on pictures and things like that. She's trying to keep from being sued, you know.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I think is pretty smart, but I'm not sure. I read some of Ed's book. Mikey, I don't know if you did or not, but he'd send me a chapter every now and then. And
he sent me a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. Some of that stuff I don't think is going to show up in that book. You know, that's just the way I look at it. Huh?
Too true.
Yeah, too true. Yeah, probably.
I think that's why everybody's waiting on it to come out, because they know it's going to be a good one.
Well, Sharon, they loaned one of Ed's guitars to this display that they have there, and that's the reason she was down here. And you know, actually, it turned out to be a fun thing.
Cool.
And everybody,
how was she? I hadn't seen her in forever.
She hadn't changed a bit.
Really?
All
right.
And in every form and fashion.
Did she?
I love her to death, man. But I tell you what, she's tough.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Did she go down there by herself?
No, her sister. I can't remember her name, and her other friend from Texas.
Oh yeah,
they came with her, and she brought her dogs.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Oh man, they are so cool.
Yeah.
We had them out here at the house, and we had a blast with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But it was fun. She stayed a few days. We ate together a couple of times, and just
good.
It was fun.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
Good deal.
When was the last time you saw Ed? Paul, do you remember your last visit with him?
Yeah, I do. It was at a nightclub up in Clarksdale, Mississippi called Ground Zero. And it was owned by the mayor of the town and Morgan Freeman. And it's a blues club. It's matter of fact, it's adjacent to the Delta Blues Museum up there in Clarksdale, which is pretty. Yeah, I mean, it's things people need to see if they even give a shit about the blues, you know.
Oh yeah.
But that was the last time I saw him, and I actually it kind of freaked me out a little bit because I had to help him. I took his amp up on stage first of all, and then I had to walk behind him and kind of hold him, and and kind of push him up the steps a little bit. It's kind of a steep step, maybe 3/4 of a foot high or something, and he had trouble with him, so I had to help him with it. He was having trouble, later on in life. Yeah. But we were sitting there that night. He grabbed me, started grabbing me on my damn kitties, and I'm like, man, what are you doing? He said, I'm just making sure you don't have breast cancer. He said that's what I had, and I'm like, you're kidding? Yeah, he had breast cancer, but it it metastasized or whatever they call it to his lungs, and
he actually showed a picture of himself with his shirt off, and you could see where he had his breasts removed. Yeah. But it was from the anti-rejection medication that they give you, that they pretty much say that it's going to give you cancer when you take that. But how long did he live with that heart transplant?
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Was it 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab a drink.
Buddy.
But he had a great attitude, having, gone through everything he went through.
My doctor told me I'm terminal, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? I said, everybody's terminal, so.
Yeah.
He told me if I didn't do this damn radiation that I'd be gone in 6 months. And I'm like, come on, man, I feel too good to be that sick. And he said, do the radiation. So I'm doing the radiation, and then they tell me, 2 to 5 years or something. They come up with numbers like that, but none of that stuff really means anything. I think it has more to do with the attitude that you have, or that the patient has. And, if you don't walk around doing this old doom and gloom shit all the time, then I think you'll be all right.
Well, you definitely have a great attitude, and you're on the Stone Roadie show, and you could be sitting on the couch, drinking a beer or something, crying in your beer, but you're not doing that. You're a pretty tough guy, Paul.
Well, I started going back to church.
Did you?
Yes, sir.
Good
I was baptized when I was a kid, probably when I was an infant, so anything I knew about my church of religion was from my mama. And I did, I moved away from it, went away from it. And then I just, figured I better get on back and get right before the big day, So just in case this shit does kill me, I want to know where I'm going.
Well, yeah. It makes sense. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about going back myself. I'm afraid they'll bar me at the door.
Oh man, you've got a good one right down the road.
Yeah.
Boy, that parking, I don't know if it still does or not, but boy, that parking lot used to fill up around that church on Sunday morning.
It does more than it ever has right now, to be honest.
Well, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's
Joe
a popular.
Joe Biden.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, Lord have mercy.
God. I mean,
well, Craig, what the heck you been up to lately? We ain't heard too much about Craig Reed.
Yeah, where'd Craig go?
After all, this is your podcast.
This is the Craig Reed show.
Well, yeah, I'm letting Paul and Mike talk. I get on. This is my 37th appearance on here. This is only there.
Yeah, that's right. It is 37.
Do we get paid? Do we get residuals for this?
I was fixing to say, I need to update. Hey, Paulie, I need to update my SAG card.
Yeah.
Craig, did you ever sell that belt buckle?
I did, yeah. My buddy Automotive, as he goes by on Facebook. He wanted that thing bad.
You're wearing your belt buckle. Let's see that belt buckle that you got there.
I gotta move my camera down here. Wait a minute.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
This is.
Don't get up. Oh, he's got one. Oh man. Oh, Boxcar has.
That was the original. That was the original.
That was mine that I had back then. Yeah.
Well, what one Would you sell one just like that?
Yeah, there was one that was I found on the plane. I don't know whose it was. It was just, I don't know who got them all. I know I got one. Everybody in the band, I don't know if the girls got one or Gary didn't wear belt buckles and Alan didn't wear belt buckles, and Steve did every once in a while, and Leon and Ronnie did, but it was a new one. It was still in the wrapper. It was among all the stuff that was on there.
Dang.
Yeah, I can't say who it belonged to though. So it was just on the
We were
plane.
joking around about selling it, and Craig actually sold it because we were joking around about selling it.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning on selling it. Nobody was joking around about selling it.
Said,
People,
Craig,
how much you want for that? How much you want for that?
Next thing
It
somebody
was like the license plate. It's like the license plate off of Alan's car. If somebody found out I had it, so I'll give you $500 for it.
Damn.
Kathy Gozzi said, "Don't you sell that for $500? I'll give you $500 for it."
Yeah, Craig was going to sell that belt buckle to somebody, and then his buddy Automotive said, "You better not. I'm going to buy that belt buckle for you sell it." So that's what.
Hell, if I'd have known about it, I'd have bought it.
Well, I've been trying to talk him out of the steering wheel to Alan's car, and he won't.
Good luck. Which car?
I can't even, the Oldsmobile, I can't get into it. The doors are they're not locked, they're just rusted shut. It's been
really?
That car's been sitting back there for
20 years. Yeah, 25
years.
That's Florida for you. It's all that humidity down there.
Yeah.
It's buried down into to the frame out there. So
wow,
that had a unibody frame on. Those cars had unibody frames, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it had a frame on it. I'm not sure. Yeah, Tornado.
The unibody. I mean, not unibody frame, but
didn't it have a vinyl top on it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like quarter vinyl?
Yeah.
Back
Tornadoes.
quarter vinyl.
Yeah, I had an '83 model that had a diesel in it. Had a diesel 350. GM was converting 350s to diesels, and I had an '83 that I sold this guy, but he hadn't paid me for it yet, and he was going to put a regular 350 in it, and it was white as well, and he had took off with it and got in a damn wreck, and he hadn't paid me yet, and his insurance, he had some sort of auto dealer insurance where he was covered under whatever car he drove. It wasn't like you insure like you did normally, like, okay, that car's insured. He was insured himself, so whatever car he drove, he was insured under his insurance because he drove all these cars all the time. So he got like twice what I was asking for it from the insurance. And I said, wow. I said, well, just split it with me, and you can have the other half and take the damn thing. Mine didn't hold up. It just didn't. It was like that diesel wasn't great. It was just constantly something going wrong with it. But it got great mileage.
Did you hear the story about Craig having the title to that car that's been refurbed? Tell them the story about that car, Craig, that you have the title to.
The 65 Malibu that I got off of Leon. 65 Malibu four-door, air conditioning, power seats, power windows, tilt wheel. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And I got it off of Leon, and I was driving it around. That's the car that me and Gary were in the night we found out about his mother, and he was all distraught. We were riding around.
You called me that night.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
riding around in that Malibu. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I let my buddy Ronnie Caruso drive it to work one day. He didn't have a car. And he went to the golf course, and he about halfway there, he said he thought he felt like the fan belt broke, and he got to work and he forgot about it and drove it home and blew the engine up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I took it out to something happened with it. Yeah. So I took it out to Tommy George's when I was moving back to Ohio. I needed a place to put it, and he stuck it back in his field. It was back there for about 25 years. Somebody of Ronnie's cousin or something got it, and Chad saw him at Tammy's Van Zant's funeral, and they said, "Does your dad have any documentation on that car?" And they called me. I said, "I still got the title to it."
Shit.
And I told them I had the title, and I don't know. They must have got another title to it because I've still got it. They got the title. They must have got.
Well, isn't that technically your car?
No, I don't know. I guess it would be. I don't know.
Craig said if times get hard.
That car was in bad shape, though. It was pretty rusty. It really was. I mean, it was sitting back there in the wetlands for 25 years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in good shape to start with.
Well, how long ago did they get it?
Oh, just about 6 weeks. I don't know. No, I don't know when they got it, but apparently they restored. Apparently, whoever got it restored it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
They'd had to do a lot of sheet metal repair on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craig said he don't think Alan's car is restorable.
Man, it probably ain't.
No, it's not worth
last
it.
I seen it was 20 years ago, and it was a 50-50 back then.
No, it's gone.
What was the reason Alan gave you? He just gave that car to you?
It was my birthday. Well, he didn't have a driver's license, and I'm the only one that hardly ever. He drove it a little bit when it was brand new, but then I drove it every time we went down to Miami to the studio down to Criteria. We'd take that car. It had a color TV in it and a Betamax tape player.
It did.
And Alan would sit over in the passenger seat with a guitar and play the whole time we were, going down the road. And he had where the strap hooked on to he used to dig into the armrest and stuff.
That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Had that place worn on it, an armrest.
Yeah, that's the part of the car I want right there. That worn part.
Chad
said right where his ass sits. Somebody'd probably buy that for.
Didn't squirrels get a hold of the interior on it?
I can't get into it. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to bust the passenger window out and crawl in it and kick the door open or whatever. I don't know. It's on the way. I don't know. Even so, I got the key. I got the key, but the doors just froze shut.
It's where it's is it there with you now, or is it still in Florida?
No, it's here. It's in my backyard back there.
Oh, really? How about that?
Yeah. I remember when you had
a patch of poison ivy.
I remember when you had that pearl paint job put on.
Oh man, that was cool. I had that thing white pearled. Boy,
yeah.
The sign is shining on it. You couldn't even look at it.
You couldn't tell what color it was when the sun would hit it.
It was purple and red and green.
Is that the paint that's on it now, Craig?
Yeah, it's white pearl essence. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell when I saw it.
No, it's
a little bit
it's pretty bad now.
It was kind of roached out, I guess.
It's roached, yeah.
Well, Craig, what do you think? It's probably been quite a while. Here's time to wrap it up.
I think we're about we're only about 45 minutes, or no, we're about 50 minutes into it. Yeah, we can call that a wrap. And if anybody else got anything,
Mike, when you going on tour again?
Well, I'm going back to Europe in May. We got a really cool gig coming up in February. We're doing the Rock Legends Cruise, which is all week. I think it starts the 13th of February and runs all week. And we might be doing some Florida dates in and around there in February. So I'll let you know if we're down your way.
Yeah, I'd love to come see you.
Yeah, man, it'd be awesome.
Hey, Craig, what did you hear about Artemis? Didn't you say he was on a TV show or something?
He was on Fox and Friends the other morning.
Yeah,
he was talking about the Dolly project that they're doing some kind of an album. I guess Sammy Hagar's doing Simple Man and Dolly Parton's doing Freebird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah, he told me. I was sworn to secrecy. I saw him in Chicago about a year ago, and he said Dolly was going to sing Freebird. It might have been not quite a year ago, probably 6 months ago, and I was playing with a band that was on the same bill as him, and we hadn't seen each other in years. He told me that Dolly was going to sing Freebird, and that I don't know if the rest of it's come out yet, that someone was going to play slide on it. So
yeah, I think
did he say?
Yeah, he said Gary was going
to play slide. Yeah, he told me Gary was going to play slide on it, and
I guess he already did. I guess he did it at home.
Did he?
I guess, yeah.
Well, he told a funny story. The story he told about that was funny as hell. He said that when he first went through somebody to get to Gary, the message Gary, could you play slide on this? I'm gonna do this, and Gary said, man, I ain't been feeling good, and well, Dolly Parton's gonna sing it. I starting to feel a lot better. That's what he told me anyway. Since Dolly was going to sing it.
He heard that cha-ching.
I think that guy Tim, Gary's friend, I think was the intermediary between Artemis, and I think Tim's the one that went to Gary and told Gary about it. I believe Gary's old stable boy. Tim, the guys we're
wait a minute. What?
Gary's stable boy.
when Gary had socks out in Fruit Cove.
Okay.
And the guy Tim was like 17 years old, and he used to feed socks and mow Gary's grass and stuff, but now he's all grown up and owns a bunch of car dealerships up in somewhere. I used to know Tennessee, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, he talks to me. He calls me about once a week. We're trying to get him on to come on, but
Tim?
Tim, Gary's stable boy. No, he's got some good stories. He used to wash Ronnie's cars, and he used to work around Allen and stuff. Yeah, he was all over.
He kind of let the cat out of the bag on the Dolly Parton thing, and me and Craig were talking about it on a podcast, and Artemis, the guy from the band,
that's the only edit
said, hey, man, get that down.
That's the only edit we've ever done. Yeah, somebody from Artemis said, hey, man, Can you edit that out of your thing? That's kind of, we're not supposed to talk about that yet. So I went in there and cut a little piece out of it. That's the only
At least you figured out how to do that. Every time I tried, I cut the entire film out.
I did pretty good. I don't know how I figured it out, but I did pretty good and cut it, and you can't hardly tell that I cut it out.
Cool.
Yeah, I was lucky.
And it's a lot easier not to edit it at all.
Yeah. We haven't edited anything.
I told Mike, I said, well, I gotta edit everything, and then I'll send it to you. And then 2 minutes later, I sent it to Mike.
Yeah, I'm going, damn, that didn't take long.
Yeah, neither one of us has figured out how to edit, so we just don't edit.
I can totally do it. I can totally edit video, but it is the most frustrating thing on the planet because the programs I've got that I forget what it's called. Anyway, it's one of your better video programs, and I've tried. You know, you can get the edits to go, make it happen, and it starts looking, and then the thing crashes. And if you haven't, it doesn't auto save. So if you ain't saved,
all over again.
Yeah. But anyway, it's great hanging with you, fellas.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Anytime.
Paul, good luck with your treatments. We'll be saying prayers for you.
Thank
Love
you, brother.
Polly.
Love y'all too, man.
Good to see you, Mike, and we'll check in with you again. Craig, we're gonna wrap it.
Anytime, man. I'm up for this anytime. I have a blast doing this. So just
all right, cool. Yeah. All right, here we are. That's the end of the Stone Roadie Show, podcast number 37, and we'll call that a wrap and cut. And then I got to come over here and stop it. All righty then. Later.